Hello to Seta and my friends. Today I will present about Economics Still Works. We are from Group 3. First of all, I will introduce my group member. First, Elliot Evan Anak Timothy, me, Mikael bin Abdurrani, Injala Ezra Anak Edmund, Samuel Anak Morgan, and lastly, Nur Hidayah binti Mokhtar.
So my name is Samuel Nasiman Morgan. For the introduction of the ergonomic is the scientific discipline concerned with understanding of interactions among humans and other elements of system, and the profession that applies theory, principles, methods, and data to design in the order to optimize human well-being and overall system performance. Ergonomic means fitting the job to the workers, including workstation, tools, and equipment.
Objectiveness of ergonomic. First, a workplace befitting the need and equipment of the worker. Equipment, machinery, and controls in such a manner as to minimize mental and physical strain on the worker, thereby increasing the efficiency. Third, a conducive environment for executing the tasks more effective. Four, to improve the relationship between people, equipment, workplace, and the environment. 5. Promote safety and comfort at workstation. To minimize the risk of injury, illness, accident, the error without compromising productivity.
Greetings again to everyone. So my name is Angela Ezra Anna Etman, and right now I'm going to present 4 types of ergonomics. There are 3 types of ergonomics. The first one is physical ergonomics. Physical ergonomics is the human body's responses to physical and psychological workloads. Repetitive strain injuries from repetition, vibration, force, and posture fall into this category. Next is cognitive ergonomics. Cognitive ergonomics deals with the mental processes and capacities of humans when at work. Mental strain from workload, decision-making, human error, training fall into this category. And last one is organizational ergonomics. Organizational ergonomics deals with the organizational structure, policies, and processes in the work environment, such as shift work, scheduling, job satisfaction, motivation, supervision, teamwork, telecommuting, and ethics.
My name is Nur Hidayah Zaidah binti Mokhtar. My matrix number is 05DKA21F1046. I'm gonna present the ergonomics risk factors. First, force. The more force required for a task, the greater the risk. The heavier the item or the greater distance lifted, both add to the risk lifting a heavy item. Second, awkward posture. When the body is forced into position where it has to work harder to accomplish a task, it magnifies the risk of injury and stress, twisting and bending at the waist. Third, contact stress. Contact points press against surface, compress nerve and reduce blood flow in limb, putting stress on muscle and the body overall. Last, vibration. The effect of hand-arm vibration or whole body vibration can be similar to contact stress, with the potential for internal organ damage.
For the works safety is indoor air quality. Indoor air quality (IAQ) is a term which refers to the air quality within and around buildings and structures, especially as it relates to the health and comfort of building occupants. Next is temperature and humidity. It's not only the temperature that affects how people feel, but also the humidity levels and air movement. There is no specific temperatures, but usually 20 to 26 degrees. With regard to humidity, if it's too high, this will cause discomfort. Optimum humidity levels are between 40% and 60%. Below can cause problems like sinusitis. The next is noise and hearing. Ex- Exposure to excessive noise can damage hearing, and it is important to understand the effects of this kind of noise, particularly because such exposure is avoidable. Under factory machinery regulation, noise exposure is it is 90 dB for 8 hours, 115 dB at any time, and lastly 140 dB at any time. Example of engineering controls for ergonomic hazards include breaking down tasks and weight loads to reduce the exertion necessary by employee, limiting employee exertion by using equipment for heavy lifting, redesigning workspace space to accommodate individuals in order to reduce strain and improve posture. So next, for safety and lifting, the most common injuries to steel workers are hand lacerations and eye injuries from steel pieces. Proper use for personal protective equipment (PPE) can prevent this. Next, for equipment and tool vibration, cutting metal parts that are curved or bent can result in a spring back effect where the stock or cut piece is released and flies toward the worker. Make sure that you always wear proper safety eyewear when you work with or around steel. If machines, tool and the workflow, wear glove wherever you touch, move or work with steel. Work in a lit shop or area so you can see your tools and materials. So for the work safety activity is welding personal protective equipment. For the body part is eyes and face. The equipment that needed is welding helmet, hand shield or goggles. This is the illustration of the equipment. So the reason is to protect from radiation, flying particles, debris, hot slag, sparks, intense light, and irritation and chemical burns. So next, lungs. The equipment is respirators. This is the illustration of respirators. So the reason is to protect against fumes and oxides. So the next body part is exposed skin or other than feet, hands and head. The equipment that needed is fire, flame resistant clothing and aprons. So this is the illustration of fire flame resistant. So the reason is to protect against heat, fires, burns, radiation, and pen should not have cuffs, Shirts should have flaps over pockets or be tapped close. So for the next is body part is ears for hearing. So the equipment that needed is ear muffs and ear plugs. This is the illustration of ear protection. So the reason is to protect against noise, to use fire-resistant ear muffs where sparks or splatter may enter the ear rather than plugs. So next is feet and hands. The equipment that needed is boots and glove. This is the illustration of boots and gloves. So the reason we need the equipment is to protect against the electric shock, heat, burns, and fire.
Next is works procedure. For cutting, sheets by themselves, although very stackable and storable, are not useful for construction by themselves, so they need to be broken down into usable pieces. Some common methods used to cut sheet steel include shearing, which cut larger pieces into smaller ones using a shear method; electrical discharge machining, which uses a charged electrode to make conductive materials; abrasive cutting, which uses traditional saws and grinders; and laser cutting, which involves a computer-guided laser for ultra-precise cuts. For forming, cut steel needs to be shaped into the right size and shape to fit the project. There are almost infinite shapes that steel can be shaped into, so there are many methods that fabricators use to create the desired components. Here are some of the main methods used to shape steel: rolling, which involves curving flat shapes with a roll stand; stamping, which uses tools to stamp designs into the surface of the steel; welding, which joins two pieces of steel together; and bending and forming, which usually involves material being manipulated by hand. The last procedure is finishing. A steel product must go through a finishing process to make sure that it is ready for use. Some common ways steel is finished include sharpening, if a sharp edge is required; and cleaning, to make sure the steel is rinsed and has no debris; and in some cases, sanitary before its delivery.
So, my name is DUW10022 and I will be presenting about the work posture, manual handling. Hefty compensation costs such as indirect injury treatment will be avoided as well. Often happens a lot, especially in factories and industrial workplace. Therefore, having industrial economics training is an importance for an organization, as it is an opportunity for significant cost saving which can be used for the benefit of the organization. Next is about awkward body posture hazard. Walking with the neck or back bent forward more than 30 degrees for more than 2 hours per day. For the solution is raise and tilt the work forward to access. Use a still foreground level work. For the next solution is use tools with longer handles. Alternate between bending, kneeling, sitting, and squatting. Standing position hazard. Frequent handling of heavy loads. Frequent stretching and movement that requires use of energy. Work mobility. Frequent forceful exertion that requires high energy. And for the solution is mobility of the chair. Provision of footrest to reduce swelling and fatigue of the leg and foot. Avoid extreme bending, stretching, and twisting. Allow broken suitable rest periods to relax. Exercises may also help. And provide instruction on proper work practices and the use of the rest breaks.
The conclusion. First, many workers suffer from injuries and diseases that result from manual work and the increased mechanization of work. Ergonomics looks at ways to make the job fit the worker instead of forcing the worker to fit the job. Ergonomics can be used to improve poor working conditions. It can also be used to prevent bad design from being built into a job if applied when a job, tools, or workstation are being set up. Last, without the application of ergonomics principles, the workers are often forced to adapt themselves to poor working conditions.
So that's all from our group. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.